Hello, CTA family. Welcome to the Compete Mentality Podcast, where we host basketball coaches, trainers, and players from all around the state of Indiana, country, and world. The Compete Mentality Podcast is here to educate, motivate, and inspire you to compete. Our definition of competing is doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard. And I am here with the guest, Corbett Moses, and I am so excited to welcome him here today. Corbett, thanks for joining us on the podcast today, man.
Absolutely, Jordan. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And Corbett Moses, I could not do him an introduction that would do him justice. So I'm just going to let him give us his background here, kind of how you got to where you are today, man.
Yep. So I am Corbett Moses, and most famously known to be the brother of number 15 that wore that jersey at Oak Hill High School, and then furthered her career at Purdue University. So the brother of Courtney Delks, Courtney Moses. That's what everyone always said. Oh, you're the brother of Courtney, right? Yep. And I got all the height, and she got all the athletic talent. That's what I always said.
And I get that same thing today. My name is not Jordan.
Yeah. So
I am Courtney's husband. So
absolutely,
we both share a common bond.
And I was so excited when Courtney found the man of her dreams, a man of God, and I was so honored to welcome Jordan into our family. I said, dude, you are not going to be Jordan Delks anymore. You're going to be Jordan Moses. So we had a lot of fun bantering back and forth about that. So about me, grew up in Sweetser and grew up playing sports all of my life. I am 6'5", and so I competed in baseball and basketball and football. Played football up to my 8th grade year, and then was actually diagnosed with a lacerated kidney. And unfortunately,
that's like Andrew Luck's
injury,
right?
Yes, and you took the words right out of my mouth, because I don't have the athletic skills that Andrew Luck has, and so therefore the doctors just advised, hey, if you're not going to be an All-American football player, which I was not, then I was advised not to play football. So those playing days came to an end my 8th grade year. Actually played through my 8th grade year, so high school, never played football, but competed in basketball, track, and was a high jumper in track. Also was on the 4x4 team relay, ran the 400, open 4, and then played 3 years of varsity basketball. And freshman year, I was freshman JV team. I'm a husband to Kelly Moses, and met my beautiful bride at Indiana Wesleyan University my senior year. And we are proud parents to 3 kiddos. Leah, who's a kindergartner and is 6 years old. We also have a 4-year-old named Lillian Joy, and a son named Crew that is 2. And certainly love being a husband and being a father.
Yeah, well, thanks for that introduction, Corbett. And I'm just really excited for this podcast for all of you guys, because Corbett has such an excellent perspective on the game of basketball and life. I'm very blessed. I can honestly say Corbett is my best friend, and as a brother-in-law, that's a blessing to have. A lot of times you hate your brother-in-law, and that's not the case for me. But Corbett, I'm kind of an icebreaker here. We're down here in Florida, as you can see here in the background, and this is a special podcast being down here in Florida. So tell us about some of your favorite restaurants here in Florida. We're big foodies here at CTA. We talk about being trainers and watching our diet and nutrition and all that, but man, we sure love our restaurants. So tell us about some of the good restaurants down here in Florida.
Yep, certainly there are some great restaurants, and man, I'm gonna have to go probably with like a top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And top 3 being, so we stay at right just south of Johns Pass, and favorite restaurants. So Johns Pass is kind of like Treasure Island, Madeira Beach, St. Pete Beach area. So I would have to go with top 3 in no specific order. Dockside Dave's, man, we just smashed that grouper sandwich last night.
So
and
good.
If you want a grouper sandwich, Dockside Dave's is where it's at.
Quick service.
Very good service. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. do a great job. I know Jordan is probably saying, man, the Hurricane, which is way down past St. Pete Beach, kind of south of where we are at, about 20 minutes. His favorite grouper sandwich is at the Hurricane.
No doubt.
And certainly it's very good. I've had it. But Dockside Dave's, they do a great job.
So you're taking Dockside Dave's over the Hurricane?
I think so.
Oh, boy.
I think so.
Wow.
My wife, she loves they've got really good scallops at Dockside Dave's. So, and I've had those, and those are really good there. Let's see, PJ's. So growing up, me and my sister and my mom and dad, we would always kind of come down to this area to vacation. And I would say probably 20 years ago, we stumbled upon a place called PJ's, which just is a local owned place, and it's very, very good. Just great food, reasonably priced, and a great atmosphere. So PJ's I would put on that list. And the last restaurant is north of us, probably up at Madeira Beach, is a restaurant called The Conch. And another just fun spot. Usually you've got to wait, and they've got a cool little like courtyard area where I love to beat JD in a game of Jenga. They got outdoor Jenga, and it's fun to play that. And they've got another little cool game, little yard game out there. They've got some bags you can toss while you're waiting on a table. But then they've got just really good, amazing food too. So Conch, PJ's, and Dockside Dave's probably my favorite three.
Three great places, no doubt about it. And Corbett, I'm going to start out kind of with the bang here in the podcast of probably what everyone here on the podcast is listening is wanting to know about you was, how was it being C-Mode's brother? Just tell us, just how was it, man? Just the whole experience.
Super proud of her. Everyone always kind of asked or always was kind of talking about Courtney. And certainly if you've listened to these podcasts before, you know who Courtney is and what a woman of God that she is, first and foremost, and what a humble lady she is. And being her brother, I mean, that's a side that I always saw and did not necessarily view her as number 15 that so many people knew her as. And even Courtney, I mean, she had certainly a gift from God to glorify him between the four lines of a basketball court that she worked really, really hard at. But she still, to me, was my sister. She was Courtney, the little girl that I would duke it out on the driveway with, the same girl that would get mad at me down in our basement. We had a little Tykes basketball goal down there, and she was so competitive that if I would beat her, and when I would beat her at a young age, she would push me. Actually, one time she pushed me into the wall, and my butt prints were, bam, right there, 2 butt cracks right into the drywall. And just, I mean, loved growing up with her. And I guess being the brother, I saw all the hard work that she put into it. And it was nothing that I told her that, hey, you need to get out there and you need to do these drills, or nothing my mom and dad said that, hey, you need to go out there before you eat breakfast and go make 100 free throws, or you need to go run laps, or you need to do this, that, or the other. She was just from a very young age, very, very disciplined, and was a girl who had big dreams. I mean, I can attest to the dreams that she would write on an airplane that she hung from her ceiling fan in a room. And those were goals to win national championships, to win state championships, to serve God, to put Jesus first. And I mean, those are kind of some of the behind the details that I can share with you, that those were Courtney goals. Those were not Corbett goals or mom and dad goals. Those were goals that she set out and she wanted to achieve. And I think that's important for anybody listening to this podcast, that if you want to be good at something, you've got to set goals, whether that's being a good husband, whether that's being a good wife, a good basketball player, if you want to be a good defender, if you want to be a good rebounder, if you want to be good at shooting, then you've got to set goals and you've got to put in the work to do those things. And kind of piggybacking off of being the brother of Courtney, I witnessed she doing those things. She would go out early in the morning and she would do agility ladders, and she would go out and put blood, sweat, and tears onto a concrete driveway of crafting her game. And so I guess being the brother, that's kind of what I experienced. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Oh, your brother or your sister is so much better than you," and honestly, she kind of had the drive and the passion, and I realized that, but it was never a, well, she's better than you type of thing, even between the two of us. So it's kind of what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's a lot of listeners here kind of at a crossroads in life, just trying to decide what they want to do and what their goals are. And Corbett gave us a lot of encouragement here of, guys, go set goals, then go chase them, just like Courtney did, just like Corbett did. And Corbett really has a very powerful testimony here. And not a lot of people know that Corbett was offered a walk-on spot to play for Coach Tonigal at Indiana Wesleyan University. And he actually decided not to take it because his passion was farming. And he decided to go into farming instead of playing basketball. And really, that's what our podcast is all about, is no matter what it is, whether it's basketball, whether it's farming, whether it's anywhere in between, that you do what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard. So, Corbett, walk us through that decision of really deciding to dive all into farming.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, growing up from a young age, we lived in a rural community, and farming was kind of all around us, and always had a dream of farming. But mom and dad, Courtney and I were not raised on a farm, so mom and dad basically said, "Hey, those goals or those opportunities are likely not going to happen just because of the sheer fact that we're not farmers." And a lot of successful farming operations start from generations ago, and through succession plans and just generation after generation, that farming gets passed down.
Yep.
So for me, I guess I never said no, just because I knew that God was in control, but also was a teenager and saying, what the heck am I supposed to do with my life? And I'm supposed to go to this college and supposed to go get an education and figure it out. Like many people, many young kids are faced with, saying, okay, you're going to graduate high school and everyone's asking, what are you going to, where are you going to college, or what are you going to do after you graduate? What are you going to study? And those are just a lot of big questions. And for me, to my knowledge, I am the first male Moses figure in my immediate family that has graduated from a 4-year college. Certainly I've had cousins who have gone on and have gotten an associate's degree, maybe have done the 2-year path, but for a 4-year degree, I was the first person that my dad never went to college, my grandpa, my great grandpa, they were all entrepreneurs and started businesses and have been very successful. But I did, and I was encouraged to pursue a 4-year degree, which went to Indiana Wesleyan and studied business. And the whole reason I was going to Indiana Wesleyan, I had applied to 2 colleges, one being Purdue University, and I did that out of convenience because I knew a lot of friends that were going to Purdue. And the second one was Indiana Wesleyan, which is in my hometown, and that's ended up where I went to school at. I had went through the AAU circuit, was not really looking to go play college athletics. Being from an entrepreneur family, I quite honestly, being very transparent, I would rather be with my dad working in the summers or learning something in his business than working on my game. Certainly I played in the driveway a little bit, certainly went to open gyms and went to weights and conditionings in the summertime, but that wasn't my passion. My passion was, okay, I went and started a mowing business in high school and mowed several yards in my neighborhood. And I guess that's kind of what drove me versus being a student of the game. Sure. That if you want to be a good player of basketball or baseball or football or track, then you put in the hours outside of just an open gym or a weights and conditioning session.
Yeah.
And I did have an opportunity, being 6'5", I was fairly athletic, probably was had not even tapped into my potential yet of being a successful athlete. Just a lot of probably untapped potential, and not sure that I was going to ever be an All-American, but who knows. And had actually had conversations with Coach T with possibly just being a walk-on, being a water boy for the team, and mopping up all the sweat of Zach Coverstone back in the day. That was kind of my era.
Yep.
And I said, I'm going in Wesleyan, and certainly I love the game then, still love the game now, and could have had that opportunity to be a part of a great program, but I turned that opportunity down, not really knowing why. And I would say probably my first semester of college, I really struggled with the why. But I had great faith that God was in control, and ultimately I was a guy that lived by faith and not by sight. So the fleshly side of me was saying, dude, you could have went and played, or not even played, but been a part of a very special program. But at the same time, I was like hearing the Spirit saying, Corbett, if you trust me, then give away something that has been kind of your identity all your life of growing up, of being around athletics and playing sports. And so, you know what? I told Coach Sonegal that, I appreciate the opportunity and the consideration, but I'm not even going to come be a part of open gyms or even pursue the opportunity of being the mop-up boy on the manager squad.
Absolutely, and that is just such a powerful testimony, Corbett, for all of us to hear. Having the opportunity to be a part of the beginning of an era of extremely successful basketball at Indiana Wesleyan with Zach Coverstone and Spencer. What was his last name?
Spencer Harris was
Spencer
there.
Harris. He was an unbelievable
Will
player.
Huberts was my class.
Yes, Will Huberts.
Sebastian Weber.
Seabass. Yeah. Absolutely. Just legends of IWU that you had a chance to be a part of that team, and you competed and did what God called you to do, even when it's hard, and chased your passion. And that's my point here, CTA family, of, hey, whatever it is that God's calling you to do right now, you go chase it, and you chase it with 100% of everything you got, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be basketball. That's the whole point of this podcast, the compete mentality. You got to chase it with everything you got. You got to sell out with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And Corbett, I kind of want to transition. Corbett's like, if you look at this dude, even at, you're 32?
32. A fresh 32-year-old.
Fresh 32-year-old. This dude looks like a Greek god. I mean, he's 6'5", strapping buck. And just give us some of the healthy living tips and your favorite ways to work out.
Yeah, so I guess I just try to be very intentional about what I eat, what I put into my body. Certainly, I think we're called to be good stewards of what we're given and blessed by God with. So, and certainly one of those very fragile and delicate things is our body, just because we're given one. And I think it's on us to take good care of them and do everything that we can to live a long, healthy life. And I guess eating healthy is one thing that I kind of pride myself on.
That's hard to do, fellas.
Certainly I've got my weekdays where maybe I'll splurge and have a cookie, or being down here in Florida, a good piece of key lime pie is kind of got to be on the list. But that's not my everyday diet. I'm not a guy that drinks pop, and that goes way back clear back, honestly, when I was in junior high, even probably early elementary.
Basketball days.
I was always a water guy and Gatorade. And I think in performance, that has so much to do with performing well. And I'm sure there's some guys like Dennis Rodman that would say, well, it's okay to go drink 3 liters of Mountain Dew before a game, and I'm going to go have 29 rebounds and 15 block shots. I would say that's an abnormality.
No doubt.
Yeah, just love to eat healthy, love to drink lots of water, no pop, and I'm a guy that loves to be active and loves to work out. Probably a guy that would rather work out on my own or with just an individual rather than a big group. And in the summertime, I mean, we've got a trail, the Sweets or Switch Trail, close by to our house. I love to go run my bike on. Some days I like to run on, run around our neighborhood. And certainly, I mean, I kind of left the carrot dangling in front of the horse out there a little bit of why you should live by faith and not by sight. And I still have the opportunity, or actually have the opportunity, to be working for an awesome family. My dreams were able to come true of being able to farm with Toby Middlesworth. He gave me an opportunity, and just totally got orchestrated that even my freshman year, second semester of college, of working alongside Toby on his farm. And somehow I was a freshman that scheduled all morning classes, and I was done by noon. And an unfortunate situation happened with Toby where his dad had an open heart surgery. We're coming out of open heart surgery. He had a stroke, and he was a key person on his farming operation. And he was a man down that spring. And I was a guy that kind of filled in of learning how to drive a tractor and kind of filling the void of Toby's father being absent on the farm, just with him dealing with overcoming a stroke and open heart surgery and his paralysis that the stroke left him with. And I guess maybe I'm selfish, but I totally see that as a God thing, of the way I kind of fit my hand into that glove.
God's timing.
And the rest is history there, honestly. That was my freshman year of college, second semester, not knowing why I didn't choose to follow and be a part of a team as a walk-on, or just a special consideration. And God continued to open doors, and I've been working on Toby's farm. Graduated high school in 07, went to Indiana Wesleyan, graduated IWU in 11, and here we are in 21, and I'm still putting on the blue jeans and the work boots. And
10 years.
And 10 years later. And actually it was 08. The spring of 08 is when I started helping Tobe on the farm.
Absolutely. And just being blue collar. And one of my favorite quotes is from Matt Painter is, what do you do the day after you make a mistake? Is you put the work boots on and you punch the clock. And that's kind of Corbett's mentality, and the way he's just been his whole life is he just blue collar, hard worker. And it's such a powerful testimony to everybody. And Corbett, kind of as we wrap up this podcast, what is God telling you right now? I know you're a man who seeks the Lord and seeks the Spirit. Just what are you diving into right now, man?
Yep, I would say it's so our church is going through a study that you could sign, I guess, kind of through the family life side of learning from Matt Chandler and doing the family discipleship and being a dad, being a husband. It's okay. How can I best lead my family? How can I best lead my wife? And how can our family in our house best serve the Lord? And I think we are all given unique gifts and treasures and talents from God. And it's saying, okay, how do I best serve him? How do I best further his kingdom by using all that God has given me? And as an athlete, as a person who maybe is very intelligent, maybe you are a great coach, maybe you are a great leader, maybe you're all the above. Use those talents to the best of your abilities to give God all the glory and to further his kingdom, I guess, is kind of my challenge to you and challenge to myself. And really what I'm trying to hone in on right now is how can I use what God has given me to do excellence to him and his kingdom.
And CTA family, that's really what it's all about and what this podcast is all about. And I really appreciate Corbett taking time today here on the beach in Florida to talk about competing and doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard. So CTA family, no matter where you're at today in life, my encouragement to you is do what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard, and to compete. Thanks for joining us today, CTA family.